served in the U.S. Navy Seabees for roughly 10 years. When I got out and came home from Afghanistan, I ran into some issues that divided not just myself from others, but especially myself from my family unit. I felt the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I'd sink down in some depressed states. And then one family trip to Yosemite National Park changed that. For the first time since I've been back from Afghanistan, I didn't feel that burden of a blanket over my shoulders. I felt like how I used to be. And that's when I knew I had to get into a career that focused on the natural resources. I got in through the back door, if you will. After my wife and I finished graduate school, we tended to, every time we wanted to go hiking or camping or fishing, we tended to come up this way towards the northwest corner. So we decided to look for property in the northwest corner, and we found the perfect parcel of land with the right amount of acres to where I can practice what I went to school for. And I wanted to expand our sugaring operation. So I went back and forth through email trying to get a hold of the executive director at the time and Jody Bronson, who was the forest manager at the time, to meet and discuss the possibility of a sap lease on Great Mountain Forest. And so that conversation went underway, and I did get the sap leases, but I also walked away with a position. And in terms of the operations, the director of forest operations, this is where I can utilize my background, my degree, to get to know, become intimate with the forest that we're in charge of managing. It's okay to mark trees, it's okay to cut trees, knowing that the goal of this is to build a future forest, to make sure that the forest that we currently have is going to live into perpetuity, beyond me, beyond, 7 generations of foresters after me. So the intern program has been going on. We're going on our 76th year, and it's an amazing program that has gone through various legendary foresters through the decades. And I took this program over from Jody Bronson, who had it before me for about 30 years. And so I'm taking his program and slightly evolving it to make it mine. We're never really sitting around doing nothing. If it's a rainy day, I'll pick up a broom. We got to clean the shop. Or, something's not working right. Let's try to fix it. I like to try to get to know each individual intern on an individual basis, so I can understand what their passion is, what their drive is. And I try to change my quote-unquote curriculum for the intern program based on what they're looking for, what their aspirations are moving forward in this career path. It's a part of my working life I wish I had more time for, but every time I do get that opportunity, it's a place for me to, if I've had a hard day, I go down to the wood shop and I will put a piece of wood on the lathe and I'll turn it into something beautiful. I will sit there and I'll sharpen my chisels because it keeps my mind completely focused on one thing at a time. If I'm having a hard time, I'll go down there and, I'll just start fiddling around with either tools or lumber I have on stock on the shelf, and I'll start to design a new thing. It could be a cutting board, a rolling pin, a new table, a chair. It doesn't matter. Whatever I feel like making that day, I'll start that project. I'll be around you.
What kind of lessons that you've learned from your work do you hope to pass on to your children?
I hope to pass on to my kids, the importance and understanding, don't sweat the small things, to build a greater appreciation for the natural resources that they come across, to understand that the forest provides, to know a lot of things that our current generation don't know. Living in a rural area and having a job in the natural resources as a forester gives me a unique lens to where I can understand the utilization of certain things that I want to pass on to my children. Wilderness is a human construct that we think is a national park or a national forest, but we have wilderness all around us. And I hope that they can appreciate everything from the rocks and the erratics, the geologic erratics that they try to climb every day, to the plants that grow on top of them, to the stream systems and the wildlife that benefit from it. You know, it's important that they build a relationship, not just with each other, but their environment that they're going to live in the future.